Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good evening. Now, I don't know what time of day it is for you, but for me, it's the good time of day. Thought I was struggle streaming for a hot minute there. We are back at it again. It is another beautiful, wonderful day. I am your host. I'm going to be here with you. This is Savior Black on the Savior Black Network, Savior Black channel. And if you are here today, yesterday we were talking sports. Super Bowl is over. Football season is officially done. We don't have to talk about it again until it starts back up again. But what does that mean and why is that significant? Why would I even bring it up today on this bloody day? It's because I am not a blocker. So I'm going to tell you right now that if you are having a happy Valentine's Day, if you are out there with your significant other, if you are enjoying this time today, I'm going to highly recommend, I am going to almost insist that you join me on another day, a day that's not today, a day that does not have anything to do with the beautiful Valentine's Day, because we're going to be talking about a subject that could be contentious, that could be polarizing, that could split people right down the middle, that can give you that continental divide. We're going to be talking about relationships today. And what type of relationships are we going to be talking about? Well, you know me. You know me and my militancy. I'm going to be talking about our Black relationships. We're going to be talking about men and women in the community, but specifically, we're going to go over some things that deal with on a day that is all about relationships, that has a lot to do with, a lot to deal with as far as relationships go. We're going to talk about whether or not it's even worth it. What is it that we get out of a day, such as a day, when it comes to relationships? And we're going to go over a variety of topics today, all stemming from and revolving around relationships. So if you're here today and we're talking and you're still in the sound of my voice and you are still here as we are talking about it, say that you have not been warned. Do not say it, because we are warning you now that if you're sitting there, you might get a little side eye. You might get one of those. Why you look like that? Did you agree with it? No, I'm not gonna be mad. No, I'm not gonna be mad. No, tell me. No, see, I don't want to be responsible for that, because if right now, if you're like stopped up and you're blocked up, I think that you just need to back up, get up off the channel for the time being, come back another day. I won't be mad about it, and I am going to be happy to have you back and let you watch this on another day consistently. That being said, we're going to hop right into it. We're going to talk about relationships, and specifically this particular day, this Valentine's Day. Why do we have, and I guess this is my question in regards to it. I've had relationships before, and I've always been perplexed. It always gets me when I think about this particular day of Valentine's Day as to why it is we have a day that's dedicated to love. Shouldn't you love your significant other, your partner, every day of the year? Shouldn't you be enamored with them all the time or the majority of the days? What is the significance of having just one day out of the year where you are able to say with any kind of semblance, I love you, I care about you, you matter to me, you're important to me. Look at what I can do for you. Why is it that we have to wait for one day in February, the shortest day out of the month, or shortest month out of the year, rather, to say, hey, I care about you. I love you. I want to be with you. You're important to me and you mean something to me. And why is it that it revolves around object consumerism, where you didn't buy them candies or chocolates, you didn't buy them flowers? Never mind whether or not they like those things or not, and you know that they might like or prefer other things, and that you could get them something else, but that is a requirement to be able to show them just how much you care about them, because they have services dedicated to taking these things to that significant other, specifically while they are at their place of employment, so that they can show to others and prove to others your love and affection for them. Why is it so tied to consumerism in that way? And why is it that there's a level of specificity on what you must purchase in order to show your love and affection for your significant other? What is it about that whole process that invites that level of consumerism? And why is that relevant to your relationship? Well, let's get into it, and let's talk a little more about it, because it becomes readily apparent that the day is just like any other day, but it's tied to consumerism. And then there's an expectation that they tie to it much in the same way that they do for diamonds, right? They uh, have tacked your love for your significant other to whether or not you can afford a ring with a certain carat quality of diamond for your significant other. And initially, it used to be that, hey, it's because diamonds are rare. And then we realized, or it came to light, that actually, no, they're not as rare as some of the other gemstones. And then they started looking at the fact that they started hoarding diamonds and putting them out, or taking them off the market, rather, just to make sure that they can control the supply to make it appear as if they were more rare than what they actually are. And as a part of your declaration of love for your significant others, or other, unless you're in a polyamorous relationship, uh, it revolves around whether or not you want to buy them these things, and not about necessarily spending time with them, possibly going out on on another date with them, or and that becomes all wrapped up into, well, that date can't be at home, that date can't be somewhere like a park with a picnic to spend time with them. It revolves around and requires financial outlay on your part to prove your love and affection for your significant other. And that's where I have the main issue with it. And the second issue, I guess, I'm just going to slide right into, go from one to another. But the other issue I have with this bloodbath day, and the reason why I look at it as a bloodbath, between now and spring break, there was a study that was done back around 2010, and it wasn't a comprehensive or a really scientific study, and it was actually done with a lot of people on Facebook. So you had this study that was done during that time frame that revolved around, when do people break up? When were the most significant months or time frames that you could rely on to see when those breakups were going to happen? And one of the things that they showed, or one of the things that came out of it, let me see if I can pull it up here on this other screen here. Where's that infographic for me? Dealing with breakup season. Now that's the problem when you have too many way too many links here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let me see if I can make that any bigger for you here. And I'm going to share my screen here with you in a moment, because I want you to see exactly what I'm seeing as far as the infographic here on what is that time frame. When is that date? What do they look like at that time? As far as breakup time or breakup seasons. So let's see. Let me share my screen with you here. I guess before I do that, let me do this, just in case anybody wants to jump on. I'm going to drop the link for us. So there you have it. You have the link, and I'm going to share my screen at this time just to show you guys exactly what it is I'm talking about, what it is that we're dealing with right now. There we go. We're going to allow. Let me know. Yes. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. So they did this wonderful infographic for us, and they took times when you had the most break when you were going to experience the most breakups. And there were two times during a year when you're going to see it. One at the end of it here, which was the 2 weeks before Christmas holidays. Uh and then they say Christmas too cruel here, but the 2 weeks leading up to it, yeah, people didn't want to deal with the assumption or the supposition is that maybe it's because people didn't want to have to deal with the whole family deal and didn't want to go through that whole process at that point. But the other time that's the peak above this is spring break. So you had low breakups or low breakup amounts right around here around Valentine's Day when everybody is actually trying to hook up. Everybody's actually trying to get themselves into a relationship right around here around Valentine's Day. And then in the weeks leading up to it around spring break, and spring break has pretty much a stretch depending on where you're at or where you go to school, from the end of February to the first 2 weeks in April, right? So all of March is essentially during that time frame, depending on the college or high school that you're at, on whether or not you're going to be in spring break, but mostly colleges. And as a matter of fact, let's show that here on the colleges. Do, 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 do. So we can see the dates for colleges on when they have spring breaks. So those dates, those times for colleges on spring breaks, they're gonna fluctuate, but you're gonna see a lot of colleges here. You have a few of them here, like Brown has them in April 3rd. There's very few colleges, but there are a few that extend their spring break out to April 3rd. And mind you, most of these colleges that are listed here, or the vast majority, or all of the colleges here on this list, are PWIs, predominantly white institutions that are showing the spring break times, and these are all for 2022. So this website here, it goes through when your college on spring break in 2022. Here's those dates. Here's the times, or when you can look forward to them. You have like Seton Hall, the law school, as well as the Seton Hall University here in New Jersey. Both of those are going to be April 18th. So well past 2 weeks into April. But anywhere from the last couple of weeks in February to April is when you're going to have a large number of breakups. So most of the people who are going to be jumping in on it right about now, most of the people who are there uh, experiencing the love and adoration that they have on this mandatory day for hookups are going to be breaking up during this time frame of spring break in a few weeks to in about a month or so. So all of the love and the financial outlay and the emotional outlay that you provided during this time frame, well, all that could go for nothing. It might just be just so that you can have that hookup and you can get that blockage unblocked if you're a guy, get that itch scratched if you're a girl. Make sure that whatever's going on with you at that time frame, how you're feeling during that time frame is something that you're going to be able to look at to get that emotion out, because everybody else is doing it, because they say that this is the time when you need to have somebody. It also can be, and this is one of the things we'll talk about a little later on, dealing with the psychology of what we're talking about. It also could be, it's a possibility, based off of what the psychology and the and what NIH and others are talking about, is that it could be that ingrained need or desire to feel wanted, to be a part of a relationship, to have that need met. And they figured out how to, in our society, that big business and the government has figured out a way to monetize that in a way that it helps to spur the economy to a degree, as for from the government's perspective, and also from a big business perspective, to keep you purchasing as a consumer. So it's a consumer day. It's not really a love day or a day when you actually do have any kind of emotional outlay or emotional outpour for that significant other that you're looking for, or not looking for, that you're in a relationship with today, that you really went into to get that relationship today. It could be very, very, very possibly could be. Uh, they feed, and again, the they, so as not to be too ambiguous, that'd be big business and the government, feeds that desire in you. They feed off it in order to help prop up the economy to an extent by feeding on a natural, normal human desire for companionship. And they figure out a way on how it is that they're going to get in there, snake in there, and make sure that they monetize that natural, normal, innate human desire for that. And then they're going to flip right around and they're going to do the same thing come spring break and say, hey, you shouldn't have a relationship. You want to get out there. You want to have that hookup culture or experience hookup culture. And there's a lot of documentation dealing with hookup culture. As a matter of fact, I probably have more information dealing with the hookup culture. When I was looking at this, that was probably the majority of the information that was available at this time was or is dealing with hookup culture and the issues that come from hookup culture. That as a and there's a lot of information on that particular bit of info. And if you go like to Wiley, the Wiley online library, actually, let me share my screen again with you. Let me show you exactly what it is that we're talking about. And again, as I apologize, I need to get faster, more efficient at doing this screen share here. But let me take you back in here and show you again this Wiley information that we have here. So again, if you're looking at it, here you have why do they hook up, attachment styles and motives of college students? Because again, this one was directed towards college students, and this is an abstract from the Wiley Library here. This is doctoral papers or peer-reviewed documents they have here, and this attachment style may be related to variations of hookup experiences, and this is from the abstract. However, we do not know if attachment styles associated with hookup motives. College students, that's N equals 266. So we have 266 participants in this particular study here, completed questionnaires that assess attachment styles and hookup motives. Avoidance attachments was negatively associated with intimacy motives, while anxious attachment was positively related to intimacy. Insecure attachment styles were positively related to coping motivations and self-affirmation motives, but interacted with attachment style. Anxious attachment was positively associated with peer pressure motives in men only. And role of attachment style and hookup motives is understanding young adult hookup experiences will be discussed. So I found that to be a very interesting aspect of that paper that was written. The fact that it talked about the peer pressure of hookup culture was something that was rampant with men. And it goes to suggest that the relationship motivations, not in hookup culture, but just for relationships in general, was something that was more rampant within women. That was another study that was here. And that for the most part, men were the ones that were the predictors and drivers of hookup culture. So the desire to just hook up and to get in here temporarily, that's going to be something that could be attributed, according to the study, of 266 participants, which is a small sample size, but still it is a sample size that they utilize here, and coming to get some kind of information on why and where we're starting to get hookup culture. So that was one of the things that they were dealing with there. And let me show this first that we have here, because we do have Son of the Sun. He is here, and he is first on as far as a comment or a commenter. But yes, I was recommending, and I'm going to tell you the same thing, just in case you didn't jump on first, or if you are first, Son of the Sun, football season is over. We are out of football season, which means I am not a blocker. That's why I'm bringing up football season. So I'm talking about relationships today, and in going over relationships and talking about the various aspects of relationships. If you are having a happy Valentine's Day, if you have you're out there with your Valentines and you are stopped up and blocked up. I'm always telling everybody right about now. Now would be a great time that you might want to back up. Come on in here again tomorrow, as we can, I say, or replay this later, so that you don't get that situation where you're talking or your significant other sit there looking at you as you're watching this and going, "What? No, no, no! What? Why you look like that when he said that? What do you think that's me? What? Oh my goodness! Are you saying that you feel that I do that? Or hold on, let me do it this way.
So why are you saying that? Are you saying that's me? Are you saying that I do that? Do you think? No, no, I'm not gonna be mad. No, we're gonna be fine tonight. Look, I just want to know how you feel. That's it. I'm not trying to do it. No, come on, just say it. Just say it. Just say how you feel. Just say how you feel. You don't know. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be mad.
And that is where you get caught up at. Because the moment you start believing that, the moment you get into that, okay, well, if you're not going to be mad, let me tell you exactly how I actually feel about this particular situation. And you'll get in there, you'll talk about that particular situation and how that works through. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be like, but babe, what's wrong? Why are you looking like that? What? I thought you weren't going to be mad.
I can't believe you actually said that. Do you actually feel like that about me? I mean, look at how I look. I just came over here all gussied up. Well, gussied up might sound like an old term, but I came over here just to be with you, and you feel like that about me?
I thought you weren't be mad with my whatever I said. Why are you upset now?
I'm not upset. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Why do you think I'm mad?
And now you sitting up there. Now you're gonna be on a bad day, and you're gonna be blaming me because you're gonna tell me football season ended yesterday. Why it is that you blocking on me again today, bruh? Hey, we could have waited throughout the off season. Give us a time to enjoy that Super Bowl. Today's like the Monday after, where you can enjoy the championship. Today's a day where you get unblocked a little better than the last time, where they're gonna put out the way that you want them to. So I'm recommending to everybody, come on back tomorrow. Let's talk about it tomorrow, and we'll get into it tomorrow. Hold on one second. Let's get in here. Who do we have here? We have Westradamus. I'm going to bring you on up with us, Westradamus. Come on up with us. Are you there, Westradamus?
Oh yeah. I'm here. I am here. I am here. I was reading the email. Yeah, just getting caught up on things, and yes, National Bloodbath Day, or Valentine's Day is like my favorite holiday.
Tell me about it.
Because like this is like the actual holidays where it's promoted, where you have to think outside yourself, and you're trying to gift things to other people. So I always see this as like a great giving holiday, and I think it's a beautiful thing, Yeah, it just I do get kind of irritated, like when people says like, "Hey, this is all about self love," but no, it's all about the relationships, and bonds that you form, and how do you reward those things, It can be your significant other, it can be a friend, it can be anything, So I just like to keep it that way, and like when I was younger, I used to have a hobby of going to Red Lobster and see everything that blows up, because you're at least you're guaranteed to see one blow up,
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
That's why I was telling everybody, I say, come back another day, because I don't want to blow it up. I'm not trying to be a blocker today. I say, I'm going to be talking about relationships. I don't want people to sit there and come in and be like, oh, we listened to it. And then all of a sudden they got their girl sitting there next to them going,
why do you look like that? Why? Why'd you smile? Why'd you snicker when he said that? No, I'm not mad. I just want to hear what you had to say.
Right? And then next thing you know, boom, they actually give their honest opinion and things blow up. So that was I was like, oh, I'm gonna cover the topic. I'm gonna talk about it today. I'm gonna be here for a hot minute talking about it, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I give that disclaimer so that anybody coming in doesn't go like, oh my God, my girl heard what you had to say about this, that, and the other. I was all backed up, I was blocked up, I was sitting there getting ready to release the hounds. I was gonna drain the main vein, and next thing you know, it done dried up like the Sahara Desert in here. And now I'm mad, she mad, we upset because we was listening to Savior Black on Bloodbath Day, National Bloodbath Day, and he's like, he just blocker. He's a blocker. He's a blocker. So I didn't want. I tell everybody like, come as a feel free to watch this on as a watch it later. It'll definitely be up later. As a go get yours and get after it. The other aspect I was talking about in regards to what you were mentioning a moment ago is that I like the idea that you have time when you can spend with your significant other. That part I agree with you on, whoever that is or whatever. But the only part I have that bothers me about it is that you have big business and the government where they want to drive the economy, and big business wants to make money off it. They figure out a way to commercialize a day that supposedly is about showing your love for your significant other or showing that affection for that other individual. And if you don't purchase the things that they have or that they say that you should purchase, then it becomes an issue within a relationship. And it makes me begin to wonder about, is that the action? Is that the reason why you're doing it? And when you're searching back within yourself, why are you doing it on this day? Is it so that you can feel, everybody at the office? It's the look at me day, right? You send somebody the flowers, knowing good and well that person probably doesn't even like flowers. So now you got to figure out, maybe it's a fruit arrangement or something, right?
Yeah.
That I love. Yeah, it's like this shows that I love you, and I'm like, okay, does it really, right? And that was when I was talking about the data that shows this is one of those this is a day going in as you're leading up to breakup days, which is going to be spring break. So I was showing the
oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you already know, like when Kevin Samuels said like the winter is here now, right? This is what he's talking about. Winter is here, and then you already know tax refund season. So a little bit after tax refund gets here, so I'm always like, I always thought like April was like the breakup month. It's like April showers bring May flowers, for Mother's Day, that type of trope and things like that. But yeah, man. Yeah, breakups are coming, sadly.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know if you can see the infographic I got up here. There was back in 2010, around 2010, they had a study that they put out there on Facebook, and it was a Facebook study where they were looking at when most breakups happen. And if you look at the infographic here that they made, you'll notice that you'll have you have Valentine's Day, which is here in February, and then the ramp up to all the breakups happening right around spring break, which they named as spring cleaning. And the only other peak that's even close to these two peaks here in spring break time, and spring break runs all the way over until around April, depending on the school that you're at. But the only other time is the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, when people are breaking up or trying to, it calls it clear their conscience time frame, when they're speculating on it. So today is the day when everybody gets into, or making sure that they got into a relationship, and then right after this, they got to do that spring cleaning to make sure they can get, they can get out there and go play during spring break.
So hot girl summer, you know what I'm saying, coming up. Yeah, man, hot girl summer coming up. Hey man, thank you. Hey man, that's information to me. Man, I just think that, like, since we're moving more into like an information age, we're seeing more of the commercialization, and commercialization and the spookism of things, a lot of people, we're getting past the spookism of marriage and the commercialization of marriage now, instead of like with the spiritual things that comes with marriage, we actually look at it as a contract now. And then like when you look down at the contract, you say, okay, this is just a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
you know, just contractually, just a bad deal.
Very.
Even if you have a prenup, even though it still is a bad deal. Because like, why would you want to go into something planning for it's already to fail? So, you know, and that's the reason I think there's a decline in marriages. And I think I read somewhere where in the African American community where marriages have actually fell since the pandemic again. So um, it's just interesting. Those things I just find very interesting.
I agree with you, Jose, and I was going to cover this on another day. I was doing the research on it, but I'll touch on it right now and I'll touch on it again when I get ready to as on the next not the next live, but it's going to be a couple of lives from now because I was doing a little more research on this, and I'm looking at the various outlets or various places where you can find information on this. But a lot of what's going on now, and like you talk about, just the bad contract of marriage, but the impact of having this bad contract is on the next generation, right? So we have the next generation comes up, and I was looking at the impact of families without fathers, because a lot of times that's what ends up happening. You have families and they're trying to do this co-parenting thing, right? Where you're looking at a family and you say, oh, hey, we want to co-parent. But you're looking at a situation where you have a family without a father, essentially. And as you're looking at the family without a father, let me share this as well here. So you have a situation here where, and this is I said they're a little biased because this is coming from an organization that is geared towards fathers. And it talks about the fact that 1 in 4 live without their biological step or adoptive father in the home. So a quarter of all kids live without their father in the home. And then it starts talking about by almost every single metric, not having that 2-parent household leads kids that grow up in a single parent household a 4 times greater risk of poverty, 7 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen, more likely to have behavioral problems, more likely to face abuse and neglect, 2 times greater risk of infant mortality, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, more likely to go to prison, 2 times more likely to suffer obesity, more likely to commit crime, 2 times more likely to drop out of high school. And all of these metrics that they're giving you are correlated in another study. And I'm going to create another infographic. It's going to be based off of this one here from NIH.gov, where they walk through the causal effects of father absence. And this was a study they did back in 2013. And they have all the data's here. It's a multi-page, transcript of that study with all the references and everything, and it does the exact same thing, like studies of the effects of father absence on education, and it gives you where all that information is coming from. It talks about mental health, the effects of absence of fathers on mental health. So they have after labor force, effects on their ability to form stable families on their own when they get to be of age.
Wow.
So through all of that, and it outlines where all the data is coming from, and so I'm still in the process of parsing all this data, pulling all this information out, because they did a very thorough job on the study here that they did as far as the impact of not having fathers in the home, or not having fathers, or the absence of fathers on families. And I want to make sure that it correlates to this graphic that they have here, where there's one who has a quarter or 1 in 4 fathers are 1 in 4 kids are growing up without fathers. So I want to make sure that as I'm going through it, and I don't want to just say it, but that's some information I'm going over right now. I love NIH. And they do have one that also deals with the Black family. and where they got all their data for that as well. So that's another study that I'm going over. But yeah, in the meantime, like I said, today I just wanted to focus particularly on the holiday of the bloodbath that is Valentine's Day and the aftermath of after today. So you're going to have a lot of outlay as far.
Okay.
No.
Here, let me just send a message to the fellas real quick. Don't believe anything what they say. All right. Hey, I'm on the pill. I'm on anything. Please protect yourself. And just in case for everybody who says that, hey, I don't believe in I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Well, today is the anniversary of the death of Captain James Cook by the Native Hawaiians.
That's worth the celebration.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, talking about Bloodbath Day. Well, that happened to be a bloodbath right there. He got stabbed up trying to kidnap somebody. So that's
I say introducing all the stuff they had over there. Yeah, that is a beautiful way on how to celebrate today. Today is the National Day, or the day when Captain Cook was killed by the Hawaiians. So
yeah. Well, here, matter of fact, I'm going to share a story of a friend that I know, and as part of Bloodbath Day. So there's this guy, one of my homeboys, right? He just tells me, went to college with him. He always tells like his little stories, his little dating stories, and there's one time, at the time, we both were living in Dallas, and he was telling me the story, and he went to the Highlands out there in Arlington, to one of those restaurants out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he took his little lady out there, and took his lady out there, his date for Valentine's Day out there, and what happened was, he was a side dude, right? So like he had his lady right here, but he was creeping on the side and things like that, right? And
he's the side dude, or she's the side chick.
I don't know how to describe it, but he said that, hey, he had something on the side, right?
Oh, he had something on the side, or I want to know if he's the one who's on the side for her.
I think it was kind of like just with his lady, but he had something on the side, right?
Okay.
And then so I guess he was coleslaw for somebody, right? So like, all right, so he walked in, sat down. Okay, he's having a great you said like, hey, he ordered whatever he ordered. He's having a good time, all this other good stuff. And then like he said he just felt somebody just staring at him, right? From like a little bit across the way, right? And lo and behold, it was a chick that he was messing with on the side. And she was there with her dude.
Right.
And and she was just just taking notes, whatever, just seeing what he got going on and things like that, instead of just hey, everybody minding their business, right? Mm-hmm. And then I guess he went over there and sat on the side with her, because they were in the booth, and and at that gave her a kiss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here it comes, dun dun dun. Then the chick that he had on the side got up, stood up, and made a beeline straight for that, and he sat right by the bathroom as well, he was on his way to the bathroom, and so here comes chick on the side coming, and and her dude didn't have no inclination what was going on, and came over there and threw water on his girl. and all heck started breaking loose. All heck started breaking loose, um, and like a fight ensued, and then her dude got into it with my friend. Then my friend ended up dropping her dude, and then she ended up dropping his girl, and cops were called, and then he just dipped out. He dipped out and left his girl there before the cops came. So he had to actually go out there and actually bail out his girl from had to go pick up his girl from the police station. So, talking about bloodbath day, that there was blood that day. So
That's horrible. I'm contemplating after you tell that account or you give me that account. Do I really want to tell this story that I'm getting ready? That I'm thinking of right now with myself.
that's what I'm saying. Hey, change the names. You don't have to. You don't give too specific, so the people involved don't know who.
Okay, so that I'm not so that I'm not talking. Well, the person knows who they are, and this is a situation I dealt with, and it was a situation where I understood that I was the side dude, understood it, perfectly okay with it. I was this girl's side dude.
You're a coleslaw. You
Yeah,
like being coleslaw.
right. So and I thought we were gonna mess around or whatever that particular day.
Was this Valentine's Day or
This it wasn't Valentine's Day. That's why I didn't think it was applicable. But when you told the story, it made me think about this one. And I'm telling this. So she told me, no, we weren't, because she had to spend some time with her husband. And I'm like, all right, cool. Granted, yes, she was married. There's a special place in hell for me. I'm going to hell in a handbasket behind this. I got it. So I got you. So anyway, long story short, so I'm sitting there. So I went off and I hooked up with another girl who I was a side piece for her, and we sit there. We were gonna hook up that day, and so she came by, and we sat there. We get ready to do what we do. Old girl calls me up, and this is back in the day before cell phones, so it's like I go and I pick the phone up. I have nothing to hide. I picked it up. She's like, yeah, and she's whispering. She's like, I know I told you I didn't want you to think that I didn't want to be bothered. I was like, oh no, we could. I'm good. I said. And the other girl who's at that place, she sat there. She's like, "Are you coming?" And I was like, "Give me a hot minute." I said, get off the phone." She says, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, I got." She said, "You got company?" I was like, "Yeah, I got company." She's like, "How you gonna have company over there?" I'm like, "Wait." I said, "I can barely hear you. Why are you whispering?" It's like, my husband, he's in the other room. I said, "Exactly," and I hung up the phone. I can't say you can't sit there and have it both ways. And then later, then the next time I see her, then there was all kind of trouble or whatever. I'm like, you have to call the ball on that one. I know what my role is. I know what I am in this equation. You can't be mad because
with the agreement. This is the agreement. Don't violate the agreement. Right?
Yeah. So you sit there, you look at it like, okay, well, if we're in a situation and I know I'm coleslaw, I'm coleslaw. I'm not just your coleslaw. I'm sorry.
yeah. Hey, coleslaw is a side dish. Okay, everybody puts coleslaw on their plate. Okay, it's not like a main dish where it's not like it's a big piece of chicken, because the big piece of chicken there's only one big piece of chicken, right? All right, and the rest are sides, right? Okay. Just because you have this side coleslaw here, don't mean that you're not. Just because you have coleslaw here doesn't mean that you don't have like corn on the cob over here or mac and cheese on your plate as well. And I never saw anybody at any barbecue just eat all the coleslaw or use coleslaw as their main dish.
Does not happen.
Exactly.
And it's sometimes it's just but I think that goes towards there was another study I shared earlier in the broadcast that the hookup culture and the peer pressure, all that goes with it, that is more prevalent among men than it is women. Women have a tendency towards a relationship or expecting a relationship out of hookups more often than men.
That's facts.
So they did a study for college students, trying to figure out, where that was coming from and what the actual goals were. And one of the things, and what study was this? This was one that came out of Wiley. I can I
Well, like
yeah.
not really looking at the study or anything like that. As you wait to pull it up. Like I know as like a man like coming up and being in sports and things like that. Like a lot of our manhood is based off of how many girls you can get with and with the hookup culture. And then after that we'll try to have like a cat facts report. And then after that we start say, hey, I got this one. Okay, you got pictures and all this stuff. And no, this is all like from back in the day and things like that. So, so I have seen it. I have been peer pressured by it, and yeah, it's rather unfortunate. you know,
And that was with this study here. It showed and they had why do they hook up, attachment styles and motives of college students, and they had 266 participants in this particular one, so it's not a really huge sample size. But one of the things that it talked about was that in looking at the motives, the hookup motives, that peer pressure in this abstract, when you're looking at it, if you go into the actual study, peer pressure was anxious attachment was positively associated with peer pressure motives in men only. So the 266 people that were a part of this questionnaire, all the men were the only ones that showed peer pressure as a motive for them engaging in hookup culture, whereas for the women, that was not their motivation in engaging in hookup culture. And when you read through the study, it actually talks about theirs was that they were actually participating because it was accepted that that was what was going to happen, but that they were expecting out of it relationships. So the expectation and the reason for getting into it, the hookup culture, that it is according to just this small sample size for this particular study, was that men get into it a lot more out of peer pressure. Like you said, you've done it, I've done it. I know many a man who has done it. I'm not gonna say all men, but the vast majority. In this case, it would be all the men were the only ones that experienced it this way, and that the women, like you said, the facts of it is they had a different reason for engaging in it. And there's
yeah, most definitely. I can tell you that. And when they talk about expecting a relationship, I need more specifics. That's very vague. I want to know what type of relationship.
well, that's the thing. It's like, so, and I guess what I would like to see come out of this, as far as the cultures that we foster, relationships, like you talk about the bad contract, because marriage is a civil union contract. That is how it is that's the terminology that many states and at the federal government, how it recognizes marriage as a type of contract. As a matter of fact, when you talk about the enforceability of a contract, the M and the mnemonic my legs for what type of contracts are enforceable,
statute of frauds,
is marriage. So this is a type of contract that you're entering into, and most people, they just want to sign on the dotted line, and they don't have any idea as to what the terms and conditions of that we're so used to clicking OK or just signing off on things and not looking at the terms and conditions. And the terms and conditions is the family law code of whatever jurisdiction or state that you're in, right? So that's what actually governs it. Not what your pastor said, not what your rabbi
exactly. It's not what the Bible says or the Quran states what a wife should do and what a wife should do and what a man should do. The roles is what that family code says.
And people don't realize that that's what they're actually getting into. And instead of talking to a family law attorney, someone who could tell you This is the contract you're actually getting into. You're actually signing on so that you no longer are 100% of anything. You are 50%. You buy a coffee, you bought 50% of a coffee. You bought a car, you bought 50% of a car. You buy a house, you buy 50% of a house. Understanding whether or not you live in a state that has community, that's a community property state or not, right? What the ramifications are on you once you enter into this contract. With the has a I love that Stephen Jackson one where he talks about the impact of duress on a contract,
Oh
because
yes.
everybody dealt with the fact that is he was not wrong. So on this day when everybody's feeling lovey-dovey and most women are thinking, okay, I'm going to engage in this hookup culture and there's going to be a relationship at the end of it, 9 times out of 10 there's not going to be a relationship at the end of it, that the other part of the man is not expecting a relationship at the end of it. And if you are going to get into a relationship at the end of it and you're going to get pressured into it or whatever, then understand that the contract that you're getting ready to enter into is not a favorable contract if you're a man. I always tell everybody, like, if for women, if you have daughters, highly recommend marriage for your daughters. That is very little. California might be one of the few states where they're actually starting to get some reciprocity on, depending on who's the primary breadwinner type thing. But most other states don't. And if you have a son, teach him how the slaughterhouse works, right? Take him down there. You want them to go down to the family law court while they're in that lovey-dovey honeymoon stage, but she's special. She's not like that. And you're talking to them. It's like, she's
I
like,
heard that.
yeah, well, just go down and go see what it's like. And I'm sure she'll be in his ear like,
I'm not like all the other girls. I'm special. This is special cat. Yeah, wait, you've had other cats, but not like this cat. I mean, this is really special.
And he'll probably buy it. He's gonna get in. So that's where I'm like, okay, get out of the mindset where you're emotional with it, and you're with old girl, and you care about old girl, and just look at what you're actually entering into. And there's a lot of other vehicles that you can utilize that, in my opinion, that would probably be just as good, if not better, than marriage in getting you to what it is that you're looking for. You can set up a trust where you can fund the trust and be like, okay, for every year that we're together, because she's looking for financial stability, every year we're together up until X amount of years, I'm going to put this amount of money into a trust fund that's your trust, right? So that if anything happens and we break up, then that's yours and you can walk away with it. And we don't have we're okay, right? You walk away, you don't feel like being in it, you're not feeling anymore, you fell out of love, you don't want to do, as opposed to marriage, where that's a lot higher of a hurdle. And then once kids become involved, it gets even worse. So there's very little about that contract that is.
And another thing is you can start putting each other on beneficiaries, and things like
Correct.
that. But one thing I do want to clear up, because there's like a whole economy on hating women here on YouTube.
Yeah,
like there are people, that's all they do. They get up and they make videos about hating women, or they say, hey, I'm an alpha male, or I'm a high value male, or hey, I'm your relationship expert. I can teach you how to pick up chicks, and you go off and go pay your little $1,000 or whatever. Like I love women. All right. I love women. I cannot live without y'all.
Right.
All right. So I am very pro marriage, especially when kids are involved.
Right.
I'm just not pro government.
Yeah. I can hear you. I guess I'm a little more militant in that regard, because I am not pro. The idea or the concept of marriage, I'm very in favor of.
Most definitely.
Concept. The legal implementation of marriage that we have in this country, I am not in favor of at all. And I understand.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Prenups, whatever, but prenups don't always work, and there's a reason why they fail. And then you can get into, and I don't want to say, because I have a mentor in TLA, so I don't want to sit there and say a whole lot that goes against what the lead attorney says. But at the same time, I don't agree. I say, well, if you draft it this way with this individual drafting it for you, and then you do this, and then you stand on one leg with the arm out. It's kind of like having an old analog TV that you're trying to get to work with the rabbit ears, and you know exactly, and then you got to hold on to the pliers just right. I mean, I don't want to have to jump through all those.
Yeah. Just to get it just right. Not everybody can have like a Ruben Stutter type situation. Things
Correct.
like that. All right.
But
and then you see that Antonio Gates. His wife of 11 years just filed for divorce from him as well. So like it's no like it is kind of heartbreaking like to see things like that happen. Just not just the especially happening in California where it's going to be like a third for everybody. It's not half, it's a third. The orders get a third, she gets a third, and then he gets what's left. It's rather unfortunate, but I think marriage is a great thing. Marriage is a great thing.
I think marriage is a phenomenal thing. And again, going back to what I showed you initially, families succeed when you have a two-parent household, right? The problem that I bump up against, I say, and it's not a hatred against women. I know that if you start talking about issues or inequities within the system, all of a sudden the narrative or the argument gets changed to, well, then you just hate women, or you just hate, and it's not that I hate women. It's not that I don't want to see families together. It's just that the relationship dynamic that they have, that the one that everybody keeps pushing, is not one that's determinative or defined by having a family that stays together. It's therefore, and if you deal with any kind of family law, a lot of times they'll use the terminology when you're talking to attorneys and you're sitting in a mediation or whatever.
Yes.
Of cashing out, right? So you'll have a situation where the wife is the attorney for the wife is talking about we joke about it as cashing her out, right?
Yeah,
so it's not necessarily that it's like she's invested X amount of time, so now she gets to cash out. And that's why the recommendation I have is like just come into with the understanding that at some point there's a very good chance that one party is going to want to cash out at some point. So set up and set up the agreement in such a way so that it's fair. Like again, I would put together a trust. I would put them on there as named beneficiaries for certain other things. Power of attorneys would be other things it's not a neat package where you sign one thing and then they get all of those things, all those benefits, but you also get the negatives. I would configure it in such a way that you get your benefits, and the guy's looking for certain things, and obviously, even in that system, he's not going to get what he's looking for. What's going to happen is she's going to get to a point a lot of times, which and I hate saying it this way but I'm jaded, and I guess let me give a little foundation on why I'm jaded. I deal if 52% of marriages by statistics end in divorce. When I do mediations, which is what I also do is mediations. When I do mediations, I'm dealing with the failed marriages, the 5 out of 10 marriages that failed. So I'm dealing with the 50%.
6, round up.
Well, as a 50% at the last count I seen, unless you've seen one that's 56. But I was looking at one that's 52%. There's a 66% of them are filed by women, which if I'm rounding up, that's 70, or 4 out of those 5 would be by women. So it's 50%. So 5 out of 10. Then 4 out of those 5 is going to be women filing. Then I'm going to look at that and I'm going to go, okay, if I enter into a relationship, it's highly likely that the relationship is going to fail, right? And not only is it highly likely that it's going to fail, the person that's going to pull the plug on that relationship 9 times out of 10, or I shouldn't say 7 times out of 10, is going to be the woman, right? So if I'm looking at it and I understand that, okay, no matter what it is that I do, this relationship has the success of the relationship on whether or not
I have a question for you though. Go ahead and finish though.
Yeah, only thing I was saying with that is that if you're looking at it, and there's also I'm gonna pull up some data here in a moment. I'm gonna show you something else, but the other interesting aspect of that is that they've had 3 countries, or they did a study with 3 different countries. The United States being the most recent country to have same-sex marriages, right? the other one they have is the UK, and then before the UK, you had the Netherlands or Denmark. They had same-sex marriage before all of them. And the UK, or I'm sorry, not the UK, what do you call it? Denmark, the Netherlands, they did a study after 10 years of data of looking at it, and they found that for same-sex marriages, lesbian marriages were the most likely to end in divorce, then followed by heterosexual marriages, followed by homosexual gay marriages, right? So if you're in a woman-on-woman relationship, that's the most likely that's going to end in divorce or dissolution. If you're in a man-woman relationship, that's the second most likely, and we know that those are going to be more women than men that's going to end in divorce. That's going to end that one, and the more stable is going to be men, but they still also have they also end in divorce. But I found it very interesting that if you're dealing with a situation like that and you make that statement, then it comes across that you must hate women. It's like, no, I don't hate women. I'm just stating what the facts are. But it comes across as, well, you don't like women if you state the facts. So I apologize.
Yeah, right.
The facts are not appealing, but if I'm looking at it and I'm trying to make sure that the relationship either lasts or that I'm in a situation where I'm protecting the outcome of it, then I want to know exactly what it is that might happen or might not happen, and what I need to protect myself from or not protect myself from. And I think that's important.
Okay, so my question to you from your perspective, so what is the point? And no, this is for like hopeless people, right? Because like the picture that you paint is very bleak.
Mm-hmm.
So if more than half, I was go ahead and say 6 out of 10, because like, hey, as soon as you get up over 5, okay, we say 6 out of 10, okay. So in your humblest opinion, so what's the point of getting in relationships then?
Okay, so to me, and this is a personal opinion.
Yeah, personal opinion. No wrong answers.
Relationships are primarily for the kids. So if you're in a relationship and you have kids, primarily that's where the benefit actually comes in. You have to understand. To me, the understanding comes in is that primarily that's where the benefit actually comes in. Yeah, you're not going to get what it is because everybody wants a guarantee, right? You want a guarantee that I'm going to enter into this relationship and this individual is going to stay. We're going to be together. We're going to go through this thing called life together. We're going to make this agreement that what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. That whole equality of we have roles. We're going to do this. So I'm going to do this for you. You're going to do these things for me. And we're going to be able to work through this thing called life together. And we're going to have times when we don't get along. We're going to have times when things aren't going to go right, but it doesn't matter. We're doing this thing together and we're in this together. That's to me the idea of marriage. However, what normally happens is the commitment portion, which to me is not an emotional aspect, right? So today is an emotional day. This is Valentine's Day. Everybody's into the emotion. Ooh, show me that you love me. And it's like, I show you that almost every day, but okay, you want a day where you get to feel special. I get it. I say, I'm not beyond. Let me show you how special you are. I do have a little bit of a bias against or a prejudice against forcing me on a particular day to engage in consumerism to prove my love, right? Or to prove my affection. But the commitment aspect, there's not a whole lot of emotion, I shouldn't say, because even if I don't like you that particular day, if I'm angry with you, if I'm upset, I'm still going to be around if I'm committed. The way on how relationships are today, it's like, it's just based on how you feel. So if today you feel like you don't feel like being with that individual, and I know that you've already said that you're committed and you're going to be with them, then the way our society is geared, cut it loose and move on. Do you be happy with you Don't worry about the other person's feelings. You can't live life that way. And there's no more self-sacrifice for the other end, for anybody else other than you. There's a level of selfishness within the relationships that there's no.
Ah, I like how you said that. A level of selfishness in a relationship, because like which I think which kind of like ties into to the show today is like when you ask a question, is your relationship made stronger by a compulsory restaurant, chocolate, flowers, for this consumer day, right?
Mhm.
Like, how can, all right, because most men, you know, we don't get gifts on this day, right?
All right.
Yeah, but the women, they get the gifts, they get the shower, gets the love. That means the man has to. It's another work day, right? All right, and then if we do not work on this day, all right, it will actually hurt the relationship instead of if we do not succumb to the societal pressures to uh, work on this day, right?
Mm.
It's just like Memorial Day or any other holiday, right?
All right.
All right, if we do not get out on that grill and make some food, okay, it's going to it can possibly hurt your standing within the relationship. For some reason, which I don't understand. Like, and I think that might be a little deeper,
Yeah,
to
I think so.
yeah, to dig on. Is like, how can okay, so if a how can a person be so selfish that if this person doesn't want to elect into this consumerism day, like how can you hold that against them? You know, is it something where you just want to take pictures so therefore you can just get like on a post? Or is it for you're just trying to show off to others, like, oh, look what I got? Or is this just an invention of clout culture, because that's the type of culture we live in now, is clout. you know
That's exactly
but
what I agree.
so like all the skeletons in your closet, okay, like guys, we spoke about earlier, talk about all the bodies, no, you getting, but you have to understand these bodies become skeletons in your closet. And if you become anything, right, they're going to become the skeletons that come back out. It's like, oh, I remember this dude did this and this to me, like, and then and that started becoming me too type stuff, with stuff that happened like 20, 30 years ago. um so um
That's
so is it
deeper. That's a whole lot deeper subject there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it all feeds into it. Like, is a relationship made stronger by a compulsory restaurant, or is it made stronger? Or does it just say, oh, this is just status quo? Because let's say if you don't do as much as the next guy, you know, or the next person, um, does that hurt your relationship, even though that you did make a valid effort for it? What if this person deems that your effort's not good enough?
I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay, and this one actually didn't involve me. And let me there's two things I want to say. So one, there's a guy named Big Jaw. I'm gonna send you a link to. He had a skit about exactly what you're talking about, which is hilarious to me. But this other story that and this is what I always think about with this particular day. There was a couple that I knew, and in watching this couple, and it was really interesting to me in watching their interaction, because the guy in the relationship, he was one who consistently purchased and did all the things that the traditional roles that women expect out of men. He did those traditional things for her. And for the most part, did as a well, she was I work with her, so but anyway, she was there, and she kind of had not traditional, but the boss woman type of mentality. And so Valentine's Day came around.
Boss chick. Ugh.
Yeah, well, she's a boss chick,
Yeah, that
and,
already sounds rough. It already sounds rough.
yeah, it was interesting because on this particular Valentine's Day, up until the day when Valentine's came around, right? She had been hinting at and alluding to this thing that she wanted, right? And she had been talking to everybody about how she was going to get this on this particular day, on this Valentine's Day. He was going to get it for her, blah, 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 right? And it was interesting because he would come through, he'd be at the job or whatever, and everybody see him. It's like everybody talks to, oh, you know. And so on the day of Valentine's Day, this particular Valentine's Day, right? So he comes in and he and it was gift after gift after gift. This was I was like, man, you doing too much. You're making the rest of us look bad, right? Because it was like it came in, she had flowers. Then it came in, some dude brought in chocolates. Then it came in, you know, it was like, and then finally he came in with the gift he was going to bring her, and they were going to go out. So she got flowers, she got chocolates, and there was another one that came in. It was just an envelope, and that was for their dinner arrangements that night, because he was taking her out. He was going to take her out, and in the dinner arrangements that he had also arranged for the kids to be picked up so that they can have that time alone, right? So he went through this whole process. And she's like, ooh, you know, she's showing it, and like and a lot of single girls, you can see that animosity, that anger in their eye. They sit up there, they jealous, they angry, they pissed off. They're like, oh my God, I wish. So, and they're like, she's like, oh, he said he's bringing something with you, you know, like, okay. So she's expecting this gift, and he comes in and he brings a different gift. It wasn't the one that she kept on hinting at. It was one that he thought that she actually wanted. And she sat there. She was like, "Oh, that's nice," right? She sit there and she's like, "Oh, that's nice." He was like, "Yeah, he's ready to go." She's like, "Let me just meet you down at the car." And he walks out. He gets in the elevator. He goes down the elevator, and as he gets on the elevator and the elevator doors close, she starts to cry. And I didn't understand it. And then all the other women who were there, they get around her and they start to comfort her. And I'm still not getting it. I'm still not getting it. And the issue that she had was that this gold necklace that he bought her was not exactly the gift that she asked for. And while it was a gold necklace that he bought her,
wow,
right, it's an expensive gift. It wasn't the gift that she wanted. And all the other women understood it. I didn't understand it. And all the other guys, we're sitting there like, wait, what happened? Right? It's like you sit there like you all like puffing your chest out all day. It's like arms back, chest out. And none of us gets exactly what's going on here, because it's like you didn't got the flower. It's like, and they came separate. It's like, and she's feeling special. It's like all of it's the lead up until the gift that he's coming in. You know, you got a dinner that you're getting ready to go to. You bragging to everybody else in the office. And then it comes down to it. You get a gold necklace, and that gold necklace wasn't exactly the gift that you wanted. That was not the one you'd been hinting at the entire time. And now she's leaving, feeling some type of way, and going to feel, or not even going to feel. At the time, I could tell you that how she felt, because she came in the next day and she was like, because he was upset because they went out. And she was feeling some type of way the entire time that they were out that night. And I had to pull him to the side and tell him, like, look, she was actually, and tell him what the gift was. And he was like, well, that's around the same as what I spent. He said, what's the, it was like, this is what she wanted. I don't understand it either, but I'm just letting you know that this is where this right here, this is where you up at, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I have to sit there and he's not getting it. And I'll be honest with you. If I were in his place, I wouldn't have got it either. And this is where that question for me comes up as to whether or not a gift or something along these lines, this level of commercialism, and then the communication that goes back and forth, and the expectation behind this commercialism, does it benefit the relationship, or does it actually hinder the relationship? And I'll be honest with you, I think it hinders it, because about 4 or 5 years after that, they ended up divorced. And it was always about something petty from my standpoint, petty along those lines. She talks about all the great things that he would do and all the good things he would do. And then it was always, he would mess up somewhere along the lines. And then you get all the other little hints in there, be like, girl, you shouldn't have to take that. And after a hot minute, I say, even though every year he's buying in, he's buying her all these things. And then after that period of time, he would start to come in there and come ask myself and some of the other guys around the office, did she start hinting at something else that she wanted besides, what I'm thinking about getting her? And to me, I'm like, listen to it. I'm like, wait a minute. Listen to what's going on here. I was like, you're thinking about her. You're trying to get her something that you think that she'll enjoy. It has to be so precise. It can't be one of the multitude of things that she mentions that she wants. It has to be this precise thing that she's saying that she wants for this particular day. Right.
Why can't she go get it for herself though? Like, hey, you're a boss chick. That means you make your own money, right? And if you specifically want this one little thing, all right, and you're dependent upon this person to get it for you, okay? Or
she loves me.
Yeah, just a.
It shows he loves me. If he doesn't bring it to me exactly that way, it's not right, girls. It's not right.
Right.
So that's exactly what you're listening to at that point.
Yeah, man. You gotta let that one go, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like if the relationship is built like on straw like that, and or a person is that petty, and all that good stuff, like, man, like you might have to let that one go. But
the sad fact of it, at least to me, and this is
yeah,
because I deal a lot with with failed relationships, is that the majority of those relationships that I watch in that vein, our society is geared towards creating that. So all the other women in the office, they felt similar, or they all reinforced those same norms, those societal norms. As a matter of
So here, let me ask you this question. So, like that same peer pressure as, fellas feel about like hookup culture in college, right? That we spoke about earlier. Do you believe like women feel like the same peer pressure around the consumerism holidays and things like that?
I do. I say everything seems to point to, or at
E-
least
e- even with marriage, don't you think they have like the same peer pressure as well?
correct. I say because the anecdotal stuff that I can point to, and again, this is why I like going to NIH and other sites, because one of the other studies that NIH came up with, and let me see if I can pull this one up here quickly. I don't know if is this the NIH study? This is the one on same-sex relationships and risk of divorce. There's another study they have on this, but I say because I want to know, am I being biased or prejudiced against it because of my anecdotal viewpoints? And the more studies I get to looking at, as far as the reason on why a lot of these things are failing, is I say in trying to get my bias out of it, right? My prejudice away from my sentiments in this regard. A lot of it seems to point to the same deal, is that the expectations on how that relationship is supposed to pan out is based off of how our societal norms are. And a lot of that is pushed by the media, a lot of that. And then once it gets pushed by the media, then the girlfriends reinforce that same. Look at what happened. Yeah, look at what happened with Zoom to Thailand, right? There's a channel that guy he was talking about.
Yeah, right, yeah.
There with this Thai lady, and the interesting aspect of that is not the fact that he's with a Thai woman. It's not the fact that he's over there overseas with a Thai woman. The interesting aspect of that interaction to me was everybody and the way that everybody attacked that, right? Including, and there's a guy who I respect, Willie D. So Willie D, he was of the Ghetto Boys.
Of course. H-Town.
Yeah, has an H-Town zone. He came out and essentially, without saying it, he said, our Western American relationships are trash. Because he said that, because he was like, he commended him for not putting down black women, just saying women in general, and then not having to settle. And then he starts laughing because he's like, whoever you sleep with or whoever you're in a relationship with, that's none of his business, which I definitely agree with. And then he went in on, I'm just going to say that I don't think that's going to last. And then he started giving the reasons why he felt that wasn't going to last. And he said that even he's had a friend of his, and him and his wife, they had a good relationship, and they both did the traditional roles, right? So a lot of women want traditional men. but they don't want to play their traditional role. So then it's like, okay, so they're in this tradition, but they were in a traditional roles relationship. She gets into the boardroom. She's now she's an executive somewhere, and she's around all these other, boss chicks. And that relationship, it didn't take long before at that point, that relationship goes down the tubes. And it was like, no matter where where it is, whether it's on a class structure, whether it's at the high class or low class, you bring a woman like that. His thing was, if you bring a woman like that over here, and the moment women get into her ear, his anecdotal experience was the same as what mine is that they're gonna get into her ear, and it's like the old Eddie Murphy joke about, Eddie, I want half. Why you treating me that way? It's gonna be that joke is hilarious because of how close to reality it actually is. And looking at it, that here you have a situation that you're gonna you bringing somebody over, you're doing what you feel is gonna be right. You want to bring your wife over. Everything was good over in this other country. You bring them over here, and now all of a sudden it's trash, right? She gets a new circle of friends, a new ethos, a new societal norm, and the new societal norm is, don't do any of the things that you were doing before that was making your relationship good. You need to be happy. It's about you, and it's not about your relationship with that individual anymore. Why are you cooking for them? Why are you cleaning the house? Why are you washing the clothes? Why are you folding the clothes and putting them up? Why are you doing anything for that individual? What have they done for you? Do they wash the clothes? Do they bring the clothes? Oh, so they work. You can work too, right?
Mm-hmm. Go get your own money and all that good stuff. And then I think there's like a Facebook group that highlights all the horror stories and Reddit posts and things like that about they're bringing their Thai wife over into England or the United States or wherever country they're from, and they have gone off the rails and took almost everything from them, because they ruined their reputation and things like that. So, it's rather unfortunate, because you have to understand is like when they're in their regular culture, okay, you have to see what their country is cultivating over there, and but you have to understand what, but once you take that person and you put them over in our culture, the Western culture, they're going to acquiesce to whatever, because it's all about survival of the fittest, right? So if they don't, then they're going to be ran over. But hey, with that being stated, man, here I'm gonna have to roll up out of here because I'm getting towards my bedtime, man.
I hear you. And I appreciate you stopping by, Westradamus. Thank you for stopping in here with us.
Oh yeah, and then hey, man, Super Bowl, I did get that 3-point spread right.
Almost definitely. You know what? I'm actually going to clip that. I'm going to put that up. It might not be the exact score, but it was a 3-point spread. Here I was thinking 10. You got it on the nose. 3-point spread on the nose. And the storyline was not even what I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be a different storyline that they were going to go with. And I should have, you guys kept talking about the Great White Hope, you and Dhani both. And I did not see that one coming. Because it's
man.
Yeah, it's the new chapter. I didn't see this coming, but the way it came through, that was a storyline that I did not see coming. But you nailed it on the head. I appreciate you stopping in. There it is, Western.
Yes, indeed. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, to you and yours. And hey, man, y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay positive.
Outstanding. Westradamus, the indistinguishable Westradamus. And again, one more time on the way out. You out, man. So that's what we were talking about today. We were talking about relationships on this bloodbath of a day. Has a consumerism, and it's nothing wrong with buying your girl something nice. There's nothing wrong with trying to show your girl that you love her. It's nothing wrong with sitting there getting in a relationship and saying how much this other individual means to you. Being forced to do so, I do have an issue with it. And then also looking at the requirement, not just the requirements, but what it leads into coming out of this Valentine's Day, going into the real bloodbath, which is going to be spring break. So anywhere from the end of February to the beginning of April, or the first 2 weeks of April, rather, we're going to see those numbers rise. We're going to see those numbers go through the rooftops of looking at when they break up, how they break up. The breakup season is going to be coming on. We're going to be watching breakup season as it happens live right here, as you can see it in your own time. I say from now, Valentine's Day, get it in, get it all in, as you're going to watch those numbers climb all the way till spring break or the spring cleaning time. We're going to see them getting on out there. I'm not going to leave you with any videos today or any clips on the way out. I do have some coming up tomorrow. Join us again tomorrow at 8. We're going to be back here on the Save Your Black Network talking again about a new and better subject. And I am going to talk to you guys then. But in the meantime and in between time, I want you guys to stay blessed. I want you guys to know that I love you. And if I haven't told you already, may you always, always, always have peace in your life. And we are